everyone. So with only a few days left for Halloween, I thought I would kind of do a villain's profile each night. Kind of like a countdown for Halloween. So tonight I'm going to read the profile on Michael Myers. Because Halloween was actually the first scary movie I ever saw as a 5-year-old, and it terrified me. So I'm going to read the Wikipedia entry for Michael Myers. So I hope you enjoy. Michael Myers is a fictional character from the Halloween series of slasher films. He first appears in John Carpenter's Halloween as a young boy who murders his older sister, then 15 years later returns home to murder more teenagers. In the original Halloween, the adult Michael Myers, referred to as The Shape in the closing credits, was portrayed by Nick Castle for most of the film. He was created by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. Michael Myers has appeared in 10 films, as well as novels, a video game, and several comic books. Appearances in films. Michael Myers made his first appearance in the original 1978 film, Halloween, although the masked character is credited as The Shape in the first 2 films. In the beginning of Halloween, a 6-year-old Michael murders his teenage sister Judith on Halloween. 15 years later, Michael escapes from Smith's Grove Sanitarium and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois. He stalks teenage babysitter Laurie Strode on Halloween, while his psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Loomis, attempts to track him down. Murdering her friends, Michael finally attacks Laurie, but she manages to fend him off long enough for Loomis to save her. Loomis shoots Michael 6 times in the chest before Michael falls over the house's 2nd-story balcony ledge. When Loomis goes to check Michael's body, he finds it missing. Michael returns in the sequel, Halloween 2. The film picks up directly where the original ends, with Loomis still looking for Michael's body. Michael follows Laurie Strode to the local hospital, where he wanders the halls in search of her, killing security guards, doctors, and nurses that get in the way. Loomis learns that Laurie Strode is Michael's younger sister and rushes to the hospital to find them. He causes an explosion in the operating theater, allowing Laurie to escape as he and Michael are engulfed by the flames. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, picks the story up 10 years after the events of Halloween 2. Michael and Dr. Loomis are revealed to have survived the explosion, although Michael has been in a coma at Ridgemont Federal Sanitarium for a decade. Michael wakes from his coma when he learns Laurie Strode has died, but also learns that she has a 7-year-old daughter, Jamie Lloyd. Returning to Haddonfield, he causes a citywide blackout and massacres the town's police force before being shot down a mine shaft by the state police. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, begins immediately after the 4th film ends, with Michael Myers escaping the mine shaft and being nursed back to health by a local hermit. The next year, Michael kills the hermit and returns to Haddonfield to find Jamie again, chasing her through his childhood home in a trap set up by Loomis. Michael is eventually captured and taken to the local police station, but an unseen figure kills the officers and frees him. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers takes place 6 years after the events of The Revenge of Michael Myers. Both Jamie and Michael have disappeared from Haddonfield. Jamie has been kidnapped and impregnated by the Cult of Thorn, led by Dr. Terrence Wynn, Loomis's friend and colleague from Smith's Grove. Wynn is revealed to have been manipulating Michael Myers all along and was his mysterious savior in Halloween 5. Michael kills Jamie, but not before she hides her newborn, who is discovered and taken in by Tommy Doyle. While trying to protect the baby from Michael and Wynn, Tommy learns that the curse of Thorn may be the cause of Michael's obsession with killing his entire family, in addition to his seemingly supernatural abilities. Ignoring the events of the previous 3 films, Halloween H2O, 20 years later, establishes that Michael Myers has been missing since the explosion in 1978. Laurie Strode has faked her death to escape her brother and is now living in California under an assumed name with her teenage son, John. On the 20th anniversary of their last meeting, Michael tracks Laurie and her son to the private boarding school where she is headmistress, and murders John's friends. Getting her son to safety, Laurie willingly goes back to face Michael and succeeds in decapitating him. Halloween Resurrection, which picks up 3 years after H2O, recons Michael's death, establishing that the man Laurie decapitated was a paramedic whom Michael had attacked and swapped clothes with. Michael tracks down and institutionalized Laurie and kills her. Returning to Haddonfield, he finds and kills a group of college students filming an internet reality show inside his childhood home. Contestant Sarah Moyer and a show producer, Freddie Harris, escape by trapping Michael in a burning garage. A new version of Michael Myers appears in Rob Zombie's Halloween, a reimagining of the original film. The film follows the basic premise of the original film with an increased focus on Michael's childhood. 10-year-old Michael is shown killing animals and suffering verbal abuse from Judith and his mother's boyfriend, Ronnie, both of whom he later murders. During his time in Smith's Grove, Michael takes up the hobby of creating papier-mâché masks and receives unsuccessful therapy from Dr. Sam Loomis. As an adult, Michael returns to Haddonfield to reunite with his beloved younger sister, Laurie. Laurie, however, is terrified of him and ends up shooting him in self-defense. Zombie's story is continued in the sequel Halloween 2, which picks right where the remake leaves off and then jumps ahead 1 year. Here, Michael is presumed dead, but resurfaces after a vision of his deceased mother, Deborah, informs him that he must track Laurie down so that they can come home. In the film, Michael and Laurie have a mental link, with the two sharing visions of their mother. During the film's climax, Laurie apparently kills Michael by stabbing him repeatedly in the chest and face with his own knife. The characterization. A common characterization is that Michael Myers is evil. John Carpenter has described the character as almost a supernatural force of nature, an evil force that's loose, a force that's unlikable and unkillable. Professor Nicholas Rogers elaborates, Myers is depicted as a mythic, elusive boogeyman, one of superhuman strength who cannot be killed by bullets, stab wounds, or fire. Carpenter's inspiration for the evil that Michael would embody came when he was in college. While on a class trip at a mental institution in Kentucky, Carpenter visited the most serious mentally ill patients. Among those patients was a young boy around 12 or 13 years old. The boy gave this schizophrenic stare, a real evil stare, which Carpenter found unsettling, creepy, and completely insane. Carpenter's experience would inspire the characterization Loomis would give of Michael to Sheriff Brackett in the original film. Deborah Hill has stated, "The scene where Michael kills the Wallace's German Shepherd was done to illustrate how he is really evil and deadly." The ending scene of Michael being shot 6 times and then disappearing from the ground outside the house was meant to terrify the imagination of the audience. Carpenter tried to keep the audience guessing as to who Michael Myers really is. He is gone and everywhere at the same time. He is more than human. He may be supernatural, and no one knows how he got that way. To Carpenter, keeping the audience guessing was better than explaining away the character with "he's cursed by some." For Josh Hartnett, who portrayed John Tate in Halloween H2O, it's that abstract. It's easier for me to be afraid of it. You know, someone who just kind of appears, instead of an actual human who you think you can talk to. And no remorse. It's got no feelings. That's the most frightening, definitely. Michael does not speak in the films. The first time audiences ever heard his voice is in the 2007 remake. Michael speaks as a child during the beginning of the film, but while in Smith's Grove, he stops talking completely. Rob Zombie originally planned to have the adult Michael speak to Laurie in the film's finale, simply saying his childhood nickname for her, Boo. Zombie explained that this version was not used because he was afraid having the character talk at that point would demystify him too much, and because the act of Michael handing Laurie the photograph of them together was enough. And that is pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have a certain villain you would like to hear about, feel free to mention it. So, we only have a couple of days for Halloween, so I hope you enjoyed this and are looking forward to the holiday. So, good night, everyone.